Asha remembers the cold words that defined her marriage, her husband ordering her to stay out of his sight and declaring she would only do what she was told as his wife. She tells herself she'll endure it for 3 years, then divorce him. Despite him calling her an unpleasant woman and saying he doesn't even want to look at her, she silently vows, "Just watch me, sweet husband of mine." Turning away, she decides firmly, "I will stop loving you, and change my story for good." She recalls their beginning, when he gently took her hand and said that even if their marriage was political, he would love her all the same. He'd smiled and told her, "Let's get along." Asha remembers his kind eyes and gentle smile from that day. Even now, she continues to work diligently. It's been 2 years since they married, and the paperwork piles up like a mountain every day. After finally finishing, she stretches and prepares to clean up next. Despite her effort, her life in the Ludok family feels more like that of a servant than a wife. She's constantly swamped with chores on top of the family's duties. She reflects on how, after they married, her husband was chosen as the Queen's guard knight. From then on, he began avoiding her. His harsh words still echo, "Asha, you have no charm as a woman." Now, Asha feels belittled every moment they speak. Regis tells her she's not worth anything and should keep her place by working hard. He warns her to do her best not to be thrown away by him. Still, she convinces herself that as long as she supports him as a good wife, he must simply be exhausted from guarding Her Majesty. She believes that if she keeps trying, he'll turn back to her someday. While she scrubs the floor, she suddenly notices him behind her. Startled, she greets him nervously, "Lord Regis, oh, you're home early." She apologizes for her messy appearance, worried about her hair. But he looks at her coldly and tells her not to speak to him, calling her disgusting and a shabby woman. Shaken, she's interrupted when a maid calls out, asking her to clean the back door because it's dirty. Asha apologizes at once and rushes to do it. Even the maids whisper that the request is too much. Still, Asha tells herself it's fine. Besides this house, she has nowhere else she can return to. She keeps trying, believing that someday things will change. While cleaning, she notices a book on the floor and picks it up. Curious, she wonders whose book it is. Inside, a message is written, "Madam of the Ludok Count's household, search your husband's room." Asha realizes the text is written in Japanese, and questions why she can read it. She wonders if the book is a medical text, noticing that some pages are in this country's language while others aren't. Following the message, she goes to her husband's room. But what she finds there? Asha's eyes widen as she reads the scattered letters. Lines like, "Thinking of tomorrow makes my heart flutter, I want to meet Regis soon," and "Last night was a wonderful night, I was happy," make her hands tremble. Shocked, she realizes these are Lord Regis's love letters. She hesitates, whispering that the other person is unable to finish the sentence. More lines appear before her, "All my feelings are not for His Majesty, but for Regis." Her breath catches as she remembers the whispered words, "My guard knight." A vivid image flashes, Regis in the Queen's arms. She hears the Queen's voice, "Let your love belong to me alone, not your wife." Asha's entire body shakes. The message in the mysterious book, it was meant to show her this. The shock cracks through her world. Tears spill down her cheeks as she whispers, "Why?" She looks at the book again. "Lord Regis," her voice breaks. Then something inside her stirs, pieces clicking into place. "I remember now." Asha touches her face, overwhelmed by the returning memories. She says her name, Asha, but recalls that in her previous life, she was Japanese. This world she's in, it's the world of the novel she once read, Forbidden Love. In that story, the plot centered around the forbidden romance between Queen Saphira and the married captain of the Royal Guards. And Asha? Asha remembers her own role. She was jealous of the Queen. She plotted the Queen's assassination. She was the villainous Asha. Asha realizes that if this world follows the original storyline, she will eventually be executed. The Queen's guard knight can only be a married man, so Regis married her just to use her as a convenient tool. She remembers reading the novel in her past life and thinking that Regis and the Queen's true love was selfish. She recalls a certain scent coming from the love letters, one that Regis occasionally wore. Now she knows why, it was the Queen's scent. She understands she was merely used. Asha stands before him, remembering the Queen embracing Regis. He watches her coldly and says he heard the paperwork is behind schedule. He asks if she knows her place, calling her worth less than a servant for being idle. He demands to know if she's trying to disgrace him, the guard knight of Her Majesty. Inside, Asha comes to a conclusion: if being used is all there is, she'd rather divorce and leave him. But she knows even if she reports the Queen's unfaithfulness, a husband who wants to remain a guard knight would never agree. And the Queen, with vast power, would simply have the accusation sealed away as a lie. Still, Asha has a trump card. 3 years. When the conditions are met in 3 years, she'll begin her counterattack. She'll bet her fate, and change this story. Yes. 3 years pass. Asha calmly drinks her tea, thinking today is the day she confronts Regez about divorce. She notes the tea is rather weak and giggles to herself. A maid calls, "Madam," and tells her to hurry and clear up the table. Asha suddenly throws herself into motion, sweeping dishes off the table with dramatic speed. "Oh, where are my manners?" she says, acting flustered. Then she swings a plate toward the maid with full force. "I'll clear it right away," she shouts. The plate shatters on the ground, leaving the maid trembling and confused. Others rush in asking, "What's all this commotion?" Asha coolly says her hand slipped. She looks at the frightened maid and adds, "You're rather jumpy, aren't you?" Then she stands tall and announces, "As of today, you are all dismissed. Leave at once." The staff reacts in shock. One man protests that he'll report this to the master. Asha calmly presents a document. Their employment contract had been updated a year ago, changing their employer from Regez to her, Asha Ludak. "So go ahead," she says. "It's useless." She then reminds them that insults toward their master may be a minor offense, but they're still crimes. She's kept a record of all their insults, making it difficult for them to find new jobs. "If you're unhappy, call Regez," she adds with a smile. "But make sure you tell him I'm filing for divorce." They panic. Asha simply smiles, satisfied. Good. Then another servant appears, horrified, demanding to know what she's doing to the paperwork. Asha keeps ripping it, thinking everything is going according to plan. "I will report this to the master," the servant cries. Asha's eyes narrow. "Soon, Regez." She spreads her arms wide with confidence. "Be my guest." Torn papers swirl around her as she declares. The fun is only beginning. Asha welcomes the merchant as he introduces himself from the Merit Trading House. He confirms that, as planned, they will purchase all the household goods in the mansion. Asha greets Mr. Merit with a bright smile, telling him she's been expecting him. While workers start carrying out furniture, he gives her the appraisal amount, 126 gold coins. Asha asks if they can move everything out today, and he proudly replies that they can, better than she expected. With everything packed away, she stands alone in the now empty room. She turns, thinking that with this, her past suffering will finally be repaid. Regez suddenly appears, shouting her name and demanding to know what she's doing. Asha sits calmly on a chair beside her luggage, facing him without flinching. She tells him there was no need for permission. Outraged, he yells, asking who allowed her to fire the servants and sell the furniture. Asha answers plainly that she is the employer of the servants, and that the furniture was replaced 6 months ago using her own funds, money earned from a small side business. Regez screams back, calling it ridiculous and demanding to know where she got the money. He grabs his sword, threatening her, saying he'll cut her down if she keeps acting on her own. Asha meets his glare without fear, telling him to go ahead. He freezes in shock. Asha stands, stepping forward. She tells him she is only exercising her lawful rights. If he wants to kill a defenseless woman who can't even fight back, then go ahead. Regez stares, trembling, while Asha takes another calm step. In the silence, his sword slips from his fingers, falling to the floor with a slash. Asha steps forward, glaring at Regez as she spits out her words, "Admit it, you're just a terrible man who can only resort to violence. Hurry up and kill me." Regez trembles, gripping his sword as she challenges him to kill her while he carries the shame of surviving afterward. Her voice rises, "Do it." Regez staggers back, shocked. "Damn it. Are you serious? Do you even understand your position?" Asha watches him with cold eyes. Here they come, she thinks. Regez tries to speak, I? Then finally blurts out the words she waited 3 whole years for, I'm fine with divorce. He shouts that if they separate, she'll be the one in trouble, with no one to rely on. But Asha smiles softly. "No. Rather, I've been waiting for those very words." She pulls out a document and hands it to him. "Here is the divorce application. Fill it out quickly." Regez grits his teeth and growls that she'll regret this, he promises. But Asha answers calmly, "I already had my share of regret, and that was marrying you to begin with." He starts sweating heavily, panicking. "Give me a little time to think." Asha holds up an envelope. "Are you hesitating because of this?" Regez snaps, "Why that?" Asha tilts her head. "It's a lovely letter, don't you agree?" She adds, "Shall I read it to you?" She smirks, knowing what's inside. But in the current situation, she chuckles. The Queen's words spill out in her memory. "Do not touch your miserable wife. I, too, do not give my heart to His Majesty, and only think of you, Regez. You must also think only of me." Asha lowers her eyes. "It says I'm a miserable wife." Then she looks straight at him. "Which of us is the miserable one?" Asha looks Rajesh straight in the eye and says, "Please divorce me, or I'll deliver this letter to the palace." Rajesh panics immediately. "I will comply, so give me back that letter." Asha smiles softly. "Very well, I'll return only that." She hands over the incriminating letter. Rajesh clutches it protectively. "That should do it. But, you once sought my love, reconsider this decision." Asha turns away. "I have no attachment to a marriage turned graveyard." Rajesh growls, trying to provoke her. "Do you really think you'll manage? You don't have the means to live alone." Asha glances back coldly. "The one who can't live alone is you, isn't it?" She steps out the door, suitcase in hand, as Rajesh stares in disbelief. Then, "Goodbye," she says without looking back. He can only whisper, this, as she walks away from him and the mansion forever. Later, in a cafe, a man examines the letter she has brought. His eyes widen. This will shake the royal family to its core. "Lady Asha, are you sure you want to proceed with this? Even you won't get away with this unscathed." Asha sits calm and composed. Preparations are complete. As the scene shifts, her voice echoes. "Are you ready, former husband of mine?" She lifts her chin, confidence blazing in her eyes. "Yes. Don't think this is the end, okay?" Her smile promises the beginning of a new war.